What happens when the people who made your life a nightmare invite you back to prove they were right about you? Dakota was about to find out. The invitation sat on her counter, perfectly printed, expensively made. Her old high school wanted her at their reunion, but her friend Chae-young had warned her why. They're making jokes about you, betting on whether you got fat, whether you're working some dead-end job. Yuna wants to see you one more time to feel better about herself. 10 years ago, they'd called her the dumbest girl in class. They'd mocked her Korean, isolated her, made her believe she didn't belong. They'd broken something inside a 17-year-old girl who was just trying to survive in a foreign country. But Dakota wasn't that scared teenager anymore. She'd learned their language fluently, built a successful design firm, and somehow, impossibly, caught the attention of Kang Ji-woo, the one man in Seoul that everyone feared. She could ignore the invitation. Or she could show up and watch their faces when they realized exactly how wrong they'd been. The choice was easy. Dakota stared at the cream envelope on the marble counter. It had her name on it, written in perfect calligraphy. But the address was wrong. Or rather, it was right, just not hers. The envelope had been delivered to Kang Ji-woo's penthouse, where she'd been spending 16-hour days redesigning his private space for the past 2 months. She picked it up, turning it over. Heavy cardstock. Expensive. The kind of invitation that screamed money and status. Her phone buzzed. "Don't open it," the text from Chae-young read. "Call me first." Dakota's stomach dropped. She knew that tone, even through text. Chae-young had been the only one who'd been kind to her during that nightmare year. In Seoul, 10 years ago. The only one who'd slipped her notes in English when the other kids were laughing. The only one who'd sat with her at lunch when everyone else treated her like she was invisible. Her phone rang. Chae-young didn't wait for a hello. "They found you," Chae-young said. "Yuna found you." Dakota sat down on one of the velvet chairs she'd picked out last week. "What are you talking about?" "The reunion invitation. You got it, right? From our high school?" Dakota looked at the envelope again. "Yeah, it just arrived." "Dakota, don't come. It's a setup." The words hit her like cold water. "What?" "I heard them planning it last month. Yuna, Minji, Jay. They think it would be funny. They want to see what happened to the dumb American girl who couldn't even order food without messing up. 10 years ago, rushed back. The cafeteria where she'd asked for rice and accidentally said something that made the whole table explode with laughter. The classroom where she'd read aloud and stumbled over every other word. The bathroom where she'd hidden during lunch, trying not to cry. Yuna's voice, loud enough for everyone to hear, saying she didn't understand how someone so stupid got into their school. Dakota had been 17. She'd been dropped into an elite Seoul International High School because her dad's company transferred him. She didn't speak Korean. She barely understood the culture. And every single day, they'd made sure she knew she didn't belong. "They're betting you got fat," Chae-young continued. "Or that you're working some dead-end job." Yuna told everyone she wants to see you one more time to remind herself that, at least she's not you. Dakota's hand tightened on the phone. Something hot and sharp moved through her chest. "When is it?" Dakota asked. "What? No." "Dakota, I just told you not to come." "When is it?" Chae-young, a pause. 3 weeks. But you can't actually be thinking about going." Dakota stood up, walking to the window. Seoul stretched out below her, glittering and massive. She'd come back here 6 months ago for work, taking on the biggest contract of her career. She owned a design firm in New York. She had clients who flew her first class and put her up in 5-star hotels. She'd learned Korean, really learned it, spending years studying until she could speak it better than some native speakers. She wasn't that scared 17-year-old anymore. "I'll be there," Dakota said. "Dakota, thank you for warning me, really, but I'm going." She hung up before Chae-young could argue. The door to the penthouse opened behind her. She didn't need to turn around to know who it was. Ji-woo moved quietly for someone who controlled half of Seoul's underground business network, but she'd learned to sense him anyway. "You're still here," he said. "Last-minute measurements," Dakota said, which wasn't entirely true, too. She'd finished an hour ago. She'd just been sitting in his space, looking at the city, putting off going back to her hotel room. He moved to stand next to her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something expensive that she'd never been able to identify. He looked at the envelope in her hand. "What's that?" "Nothing important," she said. He didn't push. That was one of the things she'd noticed about Ji-woo in the past 2 months. He never pushed. He asked once, and if you didn't answer, he let it go. It should have made him easier to work with. Instead, it made her want to tell him everything. "I'm going to a high school reunion," she said. His expression didn't change. Jiwoo's face was always controlled, always careful. She'd seen him on the phone with people who were clearly terrified of him, watched him end careers with 3 sentences, and he never raised his voice, never showed emotion. Except sometimes when he looked at her, something shifted in his eyes that made her chest tight. "Here in Seoul?" he asked. "Yeah, my dad was stationed here when I was 17. I went to school here for a year. You don't sound happy about it." Dakota laughed, but it came out bitter. "I'm not. They hated me. I was the dumb American who couldn't speak Korean and didn't know how to act. They made sure I knew it every single day." Jiwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You're not going alone." It wasn't a question. Dakota turned to look at him. He was watching her with that intensity that made her skin warm. "Jiwoo, you don't have to do that." "I know," he said. "What time should I pick you up? Before you click away, do me a favor. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you're going to want to see how this plays out. Now, let's get back to it." Dakota opened her mouth to argue, but the words stuck, because the truth was, she wanted him there. She wanted to walk into that reunion with Kang Jiwoo, the man whose name made city officials nervous and business owners respectful. She wanted Yuna to see exactly how far she'd come. "You don't even know these people," Dakota said. "No," Jiwoo agreed, "but I know you." The air between them felt heavy. This thing between them, whatever it was, had been building for weeks. Longer. Since the first time she'd met him, and he'd actually listened when she explained her design, concepts instead of just nodding like most clients. Since he'd started asking her opinion on things that had nothing to do with furniture or color, schemes. Since she'd started staying later than necessary, and he'd started finding reasons to be there when she was working. "Okay," Dakota whispered. His hand moved, just slightly, like he was going to reach for her. Then his phone rang, shattering the moment. He answered it in Korean, his voice dropping into that cold tone he used for business. Dakota turned back to the window, her heart racing. 3 weeks. She had 3 weeks to prepare. The next morning, Dakota was sketching in a cafe when her phone buzzed with an unknown number. She almost didn't answer. "Is this Dakota Johnson?" A woman's voice asked in English. "Yes, who's this?" "My name is Min Sora. I work for Kang Jiwoo. He asked me to contact you regarding your event in 3 weeks. Dakota sat up straighter. "What about it?" "Kang would like to know if you have your outfit yet selected. If not, he's arranged for you to visit a boutique this afternoon. He's already informed them of your appointment." "He what?" "He also needs the guest list for the event, for security purposes." Dakota's mind spun. "Security purposes? I don't think I have a guest list. It's just a high school reunion." "I'll obtain it," Sora said smoothly. "The boutique appointment is at 3. The address is being sent to your phone now. Do you have any questions?" "I have several questions, actually." "Mr. Kang thought you might. He said to tell you that if you're going to do this, you should do it properly." Despite everything, Dakota smiled. That sounded exactly like something Jiwoo would say. The boutique was in Gangnam, tucked into a building Dakota had walked past a dozen times without noticing. Inside, it was all soft lighting and quiet music. A woman greeted her by name before she'd even introduced herself. Ms. Johnson, we're so pleased you're here. We've pulled several options based on Mr. Kang's description." "His description?" The woman smiled. "He was very specific. He said you prefer clean lines, bold colors, and you hate anything that looks like you're trying too hard." Dakota felt her face warm. That was exactly right. How did he know that? The first dress was beautiful but wrong. Too soft, too pastel. The second was closer but still not quite right. The third dress made Dakota stop breathing. It was deep emerald green, the color saturated and rich. The cut was simple, elegant, nothing flashy or overdone. But when she put it on and looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked powerful. She looked like someone who'd built a business from nothing. She looked like someone you didn't mess with. She looked like someone who belonged on Kang Jiwoo's arm. "We'll take it," Dakota said. Her phone buzzed as she was leaving. "Jiwoo, did you find something?" The text read. "How did you know what I like?" She typed back. "I pay attention." Those 3 words did something to her chest. She stared at her phone for a long moment, trying to figure out what to say back. Before she could, another text came through. "Dinner tonight? We should discuss the plan. The plan? You didn't think I was just going to stand there and look pretty, did you? Dakota laughed out loud on the street, getting looks from passers-by. She typed back, "Where?" He sent her an address, not a restaurant. She frowned at it, then pulled up the map. It was his penthouse. Her stomach flipped. She showed up at 7, carrying her portfolio as an excuse, even though they both knew the design work was basically done. Jiwoo opened the door himself, which was unusual. Normally his assistant or driver or one of the other people who seemed to constantly orbit him was around. "It's just us tonight," he said, like he could read her mind. "I sent everyone home." The penthouse was dim, lit by the city lights outside and a few lamps. He'd ordered food, spread out on the counter. Thai, her favorite. She hadn't told him that. He'd just noticed, apparently, from the 3 times she'd ordered it for working lunches. "Okay, you're being weird," Dakota said, settling onto one of the bar stools. "What's going on?" Jiwoo leaned against the counter across from her. In the low light, his features were sharp, striking. "I had my people look into your classmates." "You what?" "The ones who invited you. I wanted to know who we're dealing with." Dakota should have been upset. Should have told him that was invasive and unnecessary. Instead, she leaned forward. "What did you find?" His mouth curved, just slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. "Seo Yuna. She was class president. Now she's married to Park Hyunwoo, a city councilman. They live in Gangnam, very public, very perfect. That sounds like Yuna, on paper. In reality, Hyunwoo's being investigated for embezzlement. Nothing public yet, but it's coming. And Yuna's been meeting with divorce lawyers for 6 months. Dakota's eyes widened. "How do you know that?" Jiwoo just looked at her. "Right, stupid question." He knew everything. "Kim Minji married a doctor," he continued. "She's a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. By all accounts, she's miserable. Lee Jae works for his father's company, barely. Mostly he drinks and gambles. He's in debt to several people, including some who work for me." "Work for you," Dakota repeated slowly. "Jiwoo, what exactly do you do?" He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I run a conglomerate. We have investments in hotels, real estate, shipping. We also have investments in less legal enterprises. I don't hide what I am, Dakota. Most people in Seoul know my name and know to be careful around it. And you're telling me this because if you walk in with me, they'll know. They'll recognize me, and they'll be afraid." Dakota should have been scared, should have made an excuse and left. Instead, she felt a rush of something fierce and satisfied. "Good." Jiwoo's eyes darkened. He moved around the counter closer to her. "You're not what I expected. What did you expect?" "Someone who needed protecting. Someone soft." He stopped right in front of her chair. She had to tilt her head back to look at him. "You're not soft." "No," Dakota agreed. Her voice came out quieter than she meant it to. "I'm not. But they hurt you." It wasn't a question, but she answered anyway. "Yes, tell me." So she did. She told him about being 17 and terrified, about her dad being too busy with work to notice she was drowning, about the teacher who called on her to read aloud knowing she'd struggle, about Yuna's laugh that cut like glass, about the day she'd tried to join a study group and they'd literally closed the door in her face, about going home every night and crying in the shower so her parents wouldn't hear. Jiwoo listened without interrupting. When she finished, his jaw was tight. "They made you feel worthless," he said. "They made me believe I was worthless," Dakota corrected. "That's worse." His hand came up, hovering near her face like he wanted to touch her but wasn't sure if he should. "You're not. I know that now." "Do you?" His thumb brushed her cheek. So light she almost thought she imagined it. "Because I think part of you is still that 17-year-old girl who's afraid she doesn't belong." Dakota's breath caught. How did he see that? How did he see straight through every defense she'd built? "Maybe," she whispered. "Is that why you want to come with me? Because you feel sorry for me?" "No." His voice was rough. "I want to come because the idea of anyone making you feel small makes me want to burn their entire world down." The air between them crackled. Dakota couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Jiwoo was looking at her like she was the only thing in the room, in the city, in the world. Then his phone rang. Again. He swore under his breath in Korean, something sharp and frustrated, and stepped back. The spell broke. "I have to take this," he said. Dakota nodded, not trusting her voice. He walked away, answering in clipped sentences. She pressed her hand to her chest, feeling her heart race. What was she doing? This was her client. This was Kang Jiwoo, who apparently ran half of Seoul's underworld. This was dangerous and complicated, and a terrible idea. She wanted it anyway. The next 2 weeks blurred together. Dakota finished the penthouse design. Jiwoo approved everything with barely a glance, which wasn't like him. He was distracted. She caught him watching her more than once, his expression unreadable. Chaeyoung called twice more, begging her not to go. Dakota ignored her. She was done running from these people. 3 days before the reunion, Sora called again. Mr. Kangs wanted me to inform you that Park Hyunwoo's embezzlement investigation went public this morning, she said. It's all over the news. Dakota pulled up her phone, searching. Sure enough, there it was. City councilman under investigation for misappropriating funds. The article mentioned his wife, Seo Yuna, former class president of Seoul International Academy. Did Jiwoo do this? Dakota asked. Sora was quiet for a moment. Mr. Kang doesn't involve himself in politics. That wasn't an answer, and they both knew it. The night before the reunion, Dakota couldn't sleep. She lay in her hotel bed, staring at the ceiling, second-guessing everything. Maybe this was stupid. Maybe she should just not show up, let them think whatever they wanted to think. Her phone lit up. A text from Jiwoo. You awake? She typed back. Yeah, come downstairs. Dakota sat up. What? I'm outside your hotel. Come down. She should have said no. Should have told him it was late and she needed sleep. Instead, she pulled on jeans and a sweater and took the elevator down. Jiwoo was leaning against a black car, hands in his pockets. He looked different, in casual clothes, a little less intimidating, a little more human. Couldn't sleep? She asked. No. He opened the car door. Get in. Where are we going? Does it matter? It didn't. She got in. He drove them out of the city, into the hills where the buildings thinned and the stars came out. They didn't talk. The silence was comfortable, easy. Finally, he pulled over at a lookout point. Seoul spread below them, a sea of lights. I used to come here when I was younger, Jiwoo said. When things got bad. Bad how? My father ran the business before me. He wasn't a good man. He believed in ruling through fear, through violence. I was 23 when he died and I took over. He stared out at the city. Everyone expected me to be just like him. But you're not. I'm not soft, Dakota. I've done things you wouldn't like. Hurt people who deserved it and some who probably didn't. I'm not a good man either. Dakota turned to look at him. Why are you telling me this? Because after tomorrow, everyone's going to know you're with me. And that comes with weight. People will treat you differently. Some will be scared of you. Some will hate you just for standing next to me. He finally looked at her. I need you to understand what you're walking into. I'm not with you, Dakota said softly. We're not together, aren't we? The question hung between them. Dakota's heart was racing again. I don't know what we are, she admitted. Jiwoo reached over, taking her hand. His palm was warm, calloused. I'm not good at this, at feelings, at being close to people. I don't trust easily and I don't let people in. Okay, but you're already in, Dakota. You've been in for weeks and I don't know what to do about it. She squeezed his hand. We don't have to figure it out tonight. No, he agreed. Tonight we just sit here. So they did. They sat in his car overlooking Seoul, holding hands, not talking. And for the first time in weeks, Dakota felt calm. Tomorrow she'd face her past. Tomorrow she'd walk into that reunion and show them exactly who she'd become. But tonight, she was just here with him. The morning of the reunion, Dakota woke up with her stomach in knots. She got ready slowly, carefully. Hair pulled back in a sleek style. Makeup simple but perfect. The green dress fit like it was made for her. She looked in the mirror and saw a stranger. Someone confident, someone powerful, someone who belonged. Her phone buzzed. I'm outside. Jiwoo's text read. Dakota took a breath, grabbed her clutch, and head down. The car was different than his usual one. Sleeker, more expensive. Jiwoo stood beside it in a black suit that fit him perfectly, and when he saw her, he went completely still. Is it okay? Dakota asked, suddenly nervous. You look incredible, he said quietly. She felt her face warm. You look good too. He helped her into the car, his hand steady on her elbow. As they pulled away from the hotel, Dakota felt reality settling in. I'm terrified, she admitted. I know. Jiwoo's hand found hers. But you're not alone. The reunion was at a hotel in Gangnam, the ballroom rented out for the evening. As they pulled up, Dakota could see people already heading inside. Women in expensive dresses, men in suits. Everyone looked successful, polished, perfect. Her hands started shaking. Hey, Jiwoo said softly. Look at me. She turned. His dark eyes were steady, calm. You are the most intelligent, creative, strong person in that room, he said. They made you feel small because they were intimidated by you. They still are. That's why they invited you. They need to prove to themselves that they're better than you. What if they are? They're not. His hand cupped her face. Trust me, I know power when I see it, and you have more than all of them combined. Dakota closed her eyes, leaning into his touch. Okay, let's do this. They got out of the car. Immediately, Dakota felt eyes on them. The valet's eyes widened when he saw Jiwoo. He bowed, deep and respectful. Mr. Kang, he said nervously. Jiwoo ignored him, offering Dakota his arm. She took it, and they walked toward the entrance. This was it. No going back. They stepped into the lobby. A sign pointed toward the ballroom. Dakota could hear music, conversation, laughter. All the sounds of people enjoying themselves, unaware that their night was about to change. Jiwoo's hand covered hers on his arm. Ready? No, Dakota said. But let's go. Anyway, they walked through the doors. The room fell silent. Not immediately, but like a wave. The people nearest the door stopped talking first, their eyes going wide. Then the people next to them noticed and turned. Then the people behind them. Within seconds, every person in the ballroom was staring. At her. At Jiwoo. At them together. Dakota's grip on Jiwoo's arm tightened. He covered her hand with his, steady and warm. Across the room, Dakota saw her. Yuna. She was standing near the bar, wearing a white dress that probably cost more than Dakota's monthly rent. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless. She looked exactly like what she was, old money and status and power. But her face had gone pale. Next to her, a man Dakota recognized from Jiwoo's files. Park Hyunwoo, her husband. The city councilman currently being investigated for embezzlement. He'd recognized Jiwoo too, and he looked like he might be sick. Should we go say hello? Jiwoo murmured. Dakota felt a smile spread across her face. A real one, sharp and satisfied. Absolutely. They crossed the room together. People moved out of their way without being asked. The crowd parted like water. Everyone suddenly very interested in not being noticed. Yuna's eyes were locked on Dakota. She looked confused, like she couldn't quite process what she was seeing. Yuna, Dakota said in perfect Korean. It's been a long time. Yuna's mouth opened, then closed. She looked at Dakota like she was seeing a ghost. Her eyes moved from Dakota's face to the dress, to Jiwoo standing beside her, then back to Dakota. I'm sorry, Yuna said in English, her voice tight. Do I know you? Dakota felt Jiwoo shift beside her, a tiny movement that somehow radiated danger. But she didn't need him to handle this. Seo Yuna, Dakota said, still in Korean, letting every word fall perfectly. Class president, debate team captain, the girl who told everyone I was too stupid to learn Korean. Yes, you know me. Yuna's face flushed. Around them, people were watching, pretending not to, but obviously listening to every word. Dakota? Yuna's voice went up, fake and bright. Oh my God. I almost didn't recognize you. You look so different. I grew up, Dakota said simply. Hyunwoo cleared his throat. He was sweating despite the air conditioning. Mr. Kang, he said, bowing slightly. I didn't expect to see you here. Park Hyunwoo, Jiwoo said. His voice was flat, emotionless. Somehow that made it worse. I heard you've been having some trouble lately. Hyunwoo went even paler. That's all a misunderstanding. My lawyers are handling it. I'm sure they are. Jiwoo's hand moved to Dakota's lower back, a gesture that looked casual but felt possessive. Dakota, would you like something to drink? Yes, please. They walked away, leaving Yuna and Hyunwoo frozen by the bar. Dakota could feel eyes following them across the room. Whispers started up in their wake. Did you see that? Is that really Kang Jiwoo? Who is she? I heard Park Hyunwoo owes money to the Kang family. This is going to be a disaster. Jiwoo guided her to a quiet corner near the windows. Seoul glittered outside, indifferent to the drama unfolding inside. He handed her a glass of champagne. You're shaking, he said quietly. Dakota looked down at her hands. He was right. I didn't think it would feel like this. Like what? Like I'm 17 again. She took a sip of champagne, trying to steady herself. I thought I was over it. I thought I'd moved past all of this. Trauma doesn't work that way, Jiwoo said. It lives in your body, in your reactions. You can heal from it and still feel it sometimes. She looked up at him, surprised. That's very insightful. I've had my share of therapy. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Mandatory after my father died. The board thought I might be unstable. Were you? Probably. Before Dakota could respond, someone called her name. She turned to see Chaeyoung pushing through the crowd. Her face lit up with a genuine smile. You actually came, Chaeyoung said, pulling Dakota into a hug. I can't believe you actually came. You told me not to, Dakota said, hugging her back. I know, but I'm glad you didn't listen. Chaeyoung pulled back, looking at Jiwoo with curiosity and a little bit of fear. And you brought a date. Chaeyoung, this is Kang Jiwoo. Jiwoo, this is Lee Chaeyoung. She was the only one who was ever kind to me here. Jiwoo nodded at her. Chaeyoung bowed, proper and respectful. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Kang. You were kind to Dakota, Jiwoo said. That matters to me. Chaeyoung's eyes widened slightly. She looked between them, and Dakota saw the moment she understood. Oh, Chaeyoung said softly. Oh, don't, Dakota warned. I didn't say anything. You were thinking it very loudly. Chaeyoung grinned. The whole room is thinking it. Do you know how many people have come up to me in the past 5 minutes asking who you are and how you know Kang Jiwoo? What did you tell them? That you're a fancy interior designer from New York who's too good for any of them. Chaeyoung's smile turned sharp. Yuna looks like she's going to have a breakdown. It's beautiful. Chaeyoung, what? She deserves it. They all do. Do you know what they were saying last month when they were planning this? They had a betting pool on whether you'd even show up. And if you did, what you'd look like, what kind of job you'd have. Minji said you probably got fat and worked at a call center. Dakota felt anger flash through her, hot and sharp. Minji's here, over by the food table, the one in the pink dress who looks like she hates her life. Dakota spotted her, Kim Minji, who'd once tripped her in the hallway and laughed about it. Who'd started a rumor that Dakota couldn't read, who'd made every group project a nightmare. She looked tired. Her dress was expensive but didn't fit quite right. She was holding a glass of wine and staring at nothing, her face set in lines of unhappiness. 3 kids, Chaeyoung said, following Dakota's gaze. Her husband works constantly. She hasn't worked since she got married. I think she's miserable. I should feel bad for her, Dakota said. But you don't, not even a little bit. Jiwoo's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then at Dakota. I need to make a call. Will you be okay for a few minutes? I have Chaeyoung. I'll be fine. He hesitated, like he didn't want to leave her. Then he nodded and stepped away, already lifting the phone to his ear. Chaeyoung watched him go. Dakota, what is happening with you two? We're not together. You're not together. It's complicated. He looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Actually, scratch that. He looks at you like you're the only person in the world and everyone else is just taking up space. Dakota felt her face warm. Stop. I'm serious. Do you know who Kang Jiwoo is? Like, really know? I know he runs a conglomerate. I know he's powerful. I know people are scared of him. Chaeyoung leaned in closer. My brother works in city development. He says Kang Jiwoo is the most dangerous man in Seoul. Not because he's violent, but because he doesn't have to be. He owns half the politicians, has dirt on the other half, and controls enough business that he can destroy someone's entire life with a phone call. People don't cross him. Ever. I know all that. And he's here, at a random high school reunion because of you. Chaeyoung shook her head. Dakota, that's not nothing. Before Dakota could answer, the lights dimmed slightly. Someone was tapping a microphone at the front of the room. Dakota's stomach sank when she saw who it was. Yuna. Of course it was Yuna. Hello everyone, Yuna said, her voice bright and fake. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's so wonderful to see everyone again after all these years. Here we go, Chaeyoung muttered. I thought it would be fun to go around and have everyone share what they've been up to. Yuna continued. I'll start. As most of you know, I married my wonderful husband Hanwoo 5 years ago. He's a city councilman now, doing amazing work for Seoul. Someone in the crowd coughed. Everyone knew about the investigation. Yuna's smile tightened. I've been dedicating my time to charity work and supporting my husband's career, Yuna said. It's been such a fulfilling journey. She looked directly at Dakota. But I'm sure everyone has interesting stories. Dakota, why don't you go next? We're all so curious about what you've been up to. The room went quiet. Everyone turned to look at Dakota. This was it. This was the moment Yuna had been planning. The moment she expected Dakota to stumble, to fumble, to prove that she was still that lost 17-year-old. Dakota set down her champagne glass. She walked to the center of the room, not to the microphone, just to where everyone could see her. Her heart was racing, but her hands were steady. Hi everyone, she said in Korean, her accent perfect. For those who don't remember me, I'm Dakota Johnson. I was here for 1 year 10 years ago. I'm sure some of you remember me as the American girl who couldn't speak Korean and didn't know anything. A few uncomfortable laughs. Yuna's smile was frozen. After I left Seoul, I went to university in New York. I studied design. I learned Korean, actually learned it properly. Because I refuse to let my time here define me as a failure. Dakota's voice was calm, steady. I started my own interior design firm 6 years ago. We work with clients internationally. Hotels, private residences, corporate spaces. I came back to Seoul 6 months ago for a contract, and I've been here ever since. She paused, looking around the room. I know why I was invited tonight, Chae-young told me. You wanted to see if I'd failed, if I'd lived down to your expectations. And I understand that. When you spend your time making someone else feel small, you need them to stay small. Otherwise, you have to face the fact that maybe the problem was never them. Maybe it was you. The silence was absolute. Dakota could see faces in the crowd. Some guilty, some shocked. Minji was staring at her drink. But I didn't come here for an apology, Dakota continued. I don't need one. I came here because I wanted you to know that everything you said about me, everything you made me believe about myself, was wrong. I'm not stupid. I was never stupid. I was just a kid in a foreign country trying her best. She looked at Yuna. And I don't need your pity or your approval or your friendship. I just needed you to see that I survived you. I survived all of you. And I'm doing just fine. Movement at the edge of the room. Jiwoo had come back. He was leaning against the wall, watching her with an expression she couldn't read. Dakota walked back to her corner. The room erupted in whispers. Chae-young grabbed her hand and squeezed it. That was perfect, Chae-young whispered. Dakota, that was perfect. But Dakota wasn't paying attention to Chae-young. She was watching Yuna, who'd gone white. Hyunwoo was whispering something urgent in her ear. She shook her head, then stepped away from the microphone. Jiwoo appeared beside Dakota. You okay? Yeah, Dakota said. She was shaking again. But this time it was adrenaline. Yeah, I'm good. You were magnificent. She looked up at him. His eyes were dark, intense. Did you hear all of it? Every word. The moment stretched between them. Dakota wanted to kiss him. The urge was so strong it almost knocked her over. But they were in a room full of people and this wasn't the time. I need air, Dakota said. Jiwoo nodded toward a balcony. There. They stepped outside. The night air was cool. Welcome after the stuffy ballroom. Seoul spread out below them. Millions of lights in the darkness. I can't believe I did that, Dakota said. I can. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's normal. Jiwoo leaned against the railing next to her. You just faced down your trauma in front of everyone who caused it. Your body's processing. Stop being so emotionally intelligent. It's weird. He smiled, actually smiled. Dakota had seen him almost smile dozens of times. But this was real. It transformed his whole face. What? She asked. You're the only person who talks to me like I'm normal. You're not normal. You're terrifying. To most people. Not to me, Dakota admitted. You've never scared me. Not once. Something shifted in his expression. He reached over, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered on her cheek. Dakota, he started. The balcony door opened. They stepped apart as Chae-young came out, her face urgent. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. They followed her back inside. A crowd had gathered around someone's phone. As Dakota got closer, she could hear people gasping. What is it? She asked. Chae-young's face was grim. Someone found old photos. From high school. Dakota's stomach dropped. She pushed through the crowd. There, on someone's phone screen, was a photo she remembered. The cafeteria. Her at a table by herself, head down, obviously trying not to cry. And at the table behind her, Yuna and Minji and 3 others laughing. Oh my God, someone said, is that Dakota? They were so mean to her. I remember this. This was terrible. The person holding the phone swiped. Another photo. Dakota struggling to read in class while other students smirked. Another. Dakota eating lunch alone. Another. Dakota with tears on her face in the hallway. Who took these? Dakota asked. I did, a quiet voice said. Dakota turned. A guy she barely remembered. Someone who'd been in her math class. He looked ashamed. I thought it was funny at the time, he said. I kept them as like, I don't know, a joke. I forgot I even had them until tonight when I was looking through old photos. Listen, I need to pause here for a second. If this story is giving you all the feelings, drop a comment and let me know. And if you haven't already, stick around because this night is about to get even more interesting. Delete them, Jiwoo said. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard it. Everyone froze. The guy holding the phone looked at Jiwoo. All the color drained from his face. Mr. Kang, I didn't mean anything by it. Delete them, now. But they're just old photos. Jiwoo took one step forward. He didn't say anything, didn't threaten, didn't need to. The guy started deleting photos so fast he almost dropped his phone. All of them, Jiwoo said. And if I find out you sent them to anyone, or posted them anywhere, we're going to have a very different conversation. Understand? Yes, sir. I understand. I'm sorry. Jiwoo looked around at the crowd. Anyone else have photos like that? Silence. Then, slowly, a few people shook their heads. Good. Jiwoo's hand found Dakota's lower back again. Enjoy your reunion. He guided Dakota back toward their corner. The crowd parted even faster this time. Dakota felt numb. Seeing those photos, seeing herself like that, it had brought everything back. The shame, the loneliness, the feeling of being completely alone. Hey, Jiwoo said softly, look at me. She did. His eyes were concerned. That's not who you are, he said. That was something that happened to you. But it's not who you are. I know, do you? Dakota took a shaky breath. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm back there, and I'm 17, and I'm alone. You're not alone now. No, she agreed. I'm not. Across the room, Yuna was watching them. Her perfect mask had cracked. She looked angry and desperate and scared all at once. She's going to do something, Dakota said. Let her. But before Yuna could move, Hyunwoo's phone rang. Dakota watched as he answered it, his face going from pale to gray. He grabbed Yuna's arm, whispered something urgent. Yuna's eyes went wide. They rushed toward the exit. As they passed, Dakota heard Hyunwoo hiss. The prosecutor's office just issued a warrant. They're going to arrest me tomorrow. Yuna stopped walking. She turned to look at Jiwoo. He looked back, his face expressionless. You did this, Yuna said. You made this happen. I don't know what you're talking about, Jiwoo said calmly. You ruined my husband's career because of her. Yuna pointed at Dakota. Because of some stupid high school drama. Your husband ruined his own career when he stole money, Jiwoo said. I just made sure the right people found out about it. You can't do this. I already did. Yuna looked like she wanted to say more, but Hyunwoo pulled her away. They left, practically running. The room erupted in whispers again. Dakota turned to Jiwoo. Did you really get him arrested? The investigation was already happening. I just made sure it moved faster. Why? Because he's corrupt, and because his wife hurt you. Jiwoo said it like it was the simplest thing in the world. Both are equally good reasons. Dakota didn't know what to say to that. Part of her was horrified. Part of her was grateful. Part of her was something else entirely. Something warm and complicated that she wasn't ready to name. Dance with me, Jiwoo said suddenly. What? There's music playing. Dance with me. Jiwoo, I don't think. Please. That one word did it. Dakota let him lead her to the small dance floor. A few other couples were dancing, but they cleared space when they saw Jiwoo. His hand settled on her waist. Hers went to his shoulder. They started moving, slow and easy. I've never seen you dance, Dakota says. I don't, usually. Why now? Because I wanted to hold you and this was the most acceptable way to do it. In public. Dakota's breath caught. They were close enough that she could feel the heat of him, smell his cologne. His hand on her waist felt like it was burning through the fabric of her dress. You can't say things like that, she whispered. Why not? Because we're supposed to be professional. You're my client. The project's done. You finished it last week. We haven't signed the final paperwork. I'll sign it tomorrow. His thumb moved in small circles on her waist. Then I won't be your client anymore. Then what will you be? I don't know, Jiwoo said. His voice was rough. What do you want me to be? Dakota looked up at him. His eyes were dark, intense, focused entirely on her. The rest of the room faded away. It was just them moving together, the tension between them finally breaking into something real. I want you to be honest with me, Dakota said. About what this is. About what you want. I want you. No hesitation. I've wanted you since the first day you walked into my office and told me my design ideas were boring. I said they were conventional, not boring. Same thing. His hand tightened on her waist. You weren't impressed by my money or my name or my reputation. You looked at me like I was just another client with bad taste. You wanted black leather furniture in a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows. It was terrible. It was, he agreed. And you told me so. No one tells me I'm wrong, Dakota. No one challenges me. But you did. You do. You make me feel like a person instead of a position. Dakota's heart was racing. Jiwoo. I know this is complicated. I know my life is dangerous and messy. I know being associated with me comes with problems. But I'm asking anyway. He stopped dancing, standing still in the middle of the floor. Give me a chance. Let me take you to dinner, real dinner, not a business meeting. Let me show you that I can be more than your client or your bodyguard for the night. You really want that? More than I've wanted anything in a very long time. Dakota looked around the ballroom, at the people who'd made her life miserable, at Chaeyoung watching with a smile, at the life she'd built despite everything. Then she looked back at Jiwoo, at the man who'd shown up for her without question, who'd stood beside her while she faced her past, who looked at her like she mattered. "Okay," she said. "Okay, yes." His whole face changed, that real smile again, the one that transformed him. "Yeah? Yeah, can I kiss you?" "Not here. Too many people watching. I don't care about them, I know, but I do. I want our first kiss to be private, just us." Jiwoo nodded. "Okay, then let's get out of here." They said goodbye to Chaeyoung, who hugged Dakota tight and whispered, "Call me tomorrow. I want every detail." As they walked toward the exit, people watched, but the energy was different now. Not mocking, not cruel, just curious, respectful. Dakota had come here expecting to prove something. She'd proven it. But more than that, she'd realized she didn't need their approval. She never had. They stepped out into the night. Jiwoo's car was already waiting. He helped her in, then slid in beside her. "Where to?" the driver asked. Jiwoo looked at Dakota. "Your hotel? My place? Wherever you want." "Drive," Dakota said to the driver. "We'll figure it out." The car pulled away from the hotel. Jiwoo took her hand, threading their fingers together. They didn't talk. They just sat there, holding hands, the city passing by outside. Dakota felt lighter than she had in years. She'd faced the people who'd hurt her. She'd said the things she needed to say. And she'd done it all while being completely herself. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For being there tonight. For standing with me, Dakota." Jiwoo turned to face her. "I would stand with you anywhere. Tonight was easy." "Easy? You threatened multiple people." "Like I said." She laughed, actually laughed. The tension of the night cracked open, and suddenly she was laughing so hard tears came to her eyes. Jiwoo watched her with a soft expression. "What's funny?" he asked. "This whole thing. I spent 10 years angry at those people. 10 years carrying around what they did to me. And tonight I realize they're not worth it. They're just unhappy people who made themselves feel better by hurting someone else. That's it. That's all they are. You're free of them now." "Yeah," Dakota said. "I think I am." The car turned down a quiet street. Dakota recognized it. They were near Jiwoo's penthouse. "Is this okay?" Jiwoo asked. "Coming here?" "Yeah. I want to see the finished design anyway." "Liar, you've seen it a dozen times." "Fine. I want to spend more time with you." His hand squeezed hers. "Good, because I'm not ready to let you go yet." They rode the elevator up in silence. The tension was back, but different now. Anticipation instead of uncertainty. When the doors opened, Jiwoo led her inside. The penthouse looked perfect. All her design choices had come together beautifully. Warm woods, soft fabrics, art that actually meant something. It looked like a home instead of a showroom. "You were right," Jiwoo said. "About all of it. This space feels different now. Good different? Like I could actually live here instead of just existing." Dakota walked to the windows. The city sparkled below. She could see the hotel where the reunion had been, just a small building among thousands. Jiwoo came to stand beside her. "What are you thinking?" "That I'm glad I went. I'm glad I faced them. But mostly I'm glad I didn't go alone. You wouldn't have needed me. You would have been magnificent either way. Maybe. But it was better with you there." He turned to face her. "Dakota." "Yeah? I'm going to kiss you now. If that's not okay, tell me." Dakota's heart raced. "It's okay. More than okay." Jiwoo's hand cupped her face. He moved slowly, giving her time to change her mind. But she didn't want to. She'd been wanting this for weeks. When his lips met hers, everything else disappeared. The reunion, the past, all of it faded. There was just this. Just them. Just the feeling of finally letting go. The kiss was gentle at first, then deeper. Dakota's hands fisted in his jacket, pulling him closer. Jiwoo's arm wrapped around her waist, holding her tight. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "Wow," Dakota whispered. "Yeah." Jiwoo's forehead rested against hers. "Wow." They stood there, wrapped up in each other, while Seoul glittered below and the night stretched out ahead of them. Dakota had come back to Seoul to face her past. She'd done that, but she'd also found something she hadn't expected. She'd found someone who saw her, really saw her. Not the scared teenager or the successful designer. Just her, Dakota, messy and complicated and still healing, and he wanted her anyway. "Stay," Jiwoo said quietly. "Not like that. Just stay, talk to me. Let me make you tea and listen to you process everything that happened tonight." Dakota smiled against his chest. "You want to make me tea and talk about my feelings? I want whatever you'll give me. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll stay. They ended up on the couch, Dakota curled into Jiwoo's side with a cup of tea she was barely drinking. She'd taken off her heels. He'd removed his jacket and tie. In the soft lamplight, they looked like a normal couple having a quiet night in. Except nothing about this was normal. Tell me about New York, said. Your life there. Why? Because I want to know everything about you. So Dakota told him. About building her business from nothing. About the first client who'd taken a chance on her. About the tiny apartment she'd lived in for 3 years while she saved every penny. About her friends, her favorite coffee shop, the life she'd built that was completely hers. Do you miss it? Jiwoo asked. Sometimes, but Seoul feels different now. It's not the place that hurt me anymore. It's just a city. And what about when your contract here ends? Will you go back? Dakota was quiet for a moment. She hadn't let herself think about that. Her contract was for a year. She'd been here 6 months. That meant 6 months left. 6 months before she'd have to decide whether to stay or go. I don't know, she admitted. What do you want me to do? Stay. No hesitation. I want you to stay. We've known each other for 2 months, Jiwoo. I know. Doesn't change what I want. Dakota shifted to look at him. You're very sure of yourself. I'm sure of you. I'm sure of how I feel when you're around. Everything else, I can figure out as I go. That's not very practical. I've spent my whole life being practical, making calculated decisions, weighing risks and benefits. And where has it gotten me? A penthouse I didn't want to come home to, and a life full of people who are afraid of me. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. You make me want to be impractical. You make me want to take stupid risks. I'm not a risk. You're the biggest risk I've ever taken, and I'm terrified. The honesty in his voice made Dakota's chest tight. Me too. Yeah? I like you so much it scares me. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, for you to realize I'm not worth the trouble. Dakota. Jiwoo's hand cupped her face. You are worth everything. Every trouble, every complication, every risk. You're worth it all. She kissed him again. Softer this time, slower. When they broke apart, Jiwoo pulled her closer. Stay here tonight, he said. I'll take the guest room. You can have my bed. We can share. I trust you. I'm not sure I trust myself. Dakota laughed. We'll be good. Just sleeping. He agreed. But when they finally went to bed an hour later, both changed into comfortable clothes Jiwoo found for her, they didn't sleep right away. They lay facing each other in the dark, talking quietly about everything and nothing. About childhoods and dreams and fears. About the things that shaped them and the things they wished they could forget. I killed a man once, Jiwoo said into the darkness. Dakota went still. What? When I was 24, a year after I took over from my father, one of his old associates tried to take control. He came after me directly, sent someone to shoot me. I fought back. The gun went off. He died. Jiwoo. It was self-defense. The police cleared me, but I still see his face sometimes. Still think about how easy it was to pull that trigger. Dakota reached out, taking his hand. You were protecting yourself. I know, but it changed me. Made me harder. Made me realize that in my world, hesitation gets you killed. So I stopped hesitating. Stopped second-guessing. I became exactly what everyone expected. The cold, ruthless head of the Kang family. You're not cold. I am. To everyone except you. Why me? I don't know. From the first moment I met you, something was different. You looked at my ideas for this place, and you didn't try to flatter me or tell me what I wanted to hear. You told me the truth. You said my ideas were boring and conventional and showed no personality. Dakota winced. I was harsh that day. You were honest. And then you showed me your designs, and I saw how you think. How you see spaces not as things to fill, but as places where people live, where they're vulnerable and tired and real. You designed this place like you were designing it for a person, not a client. Like you cared whether I was happy here. I did care. I do care, I know. That's why I fell for you. Dakota's breath caught. Jiwoo, too soon? I can take it back. No, don't take it back. She moved closer until they were sharing a pillow. I'm falling for you too. It terrifies me. But I am. He kissed her forehead. Then we'll be terrified together. They fell asleep like that, wrapped up in each other. The city quiet around them. Dakota woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of coffee. She sat up, disoriented for a moment. Then she remembered. The reunion, the kiss, staying here. She found Jiwoo in the kitchen making breakfast. He looked different in casual clothes, almost normal. Except for the way he moved, precise and controlled. The man was incapable of being completely relaxed. "Morning," he said. "How do you like your eggs? Scrambled. You cook. I live alone. It was either learn or starve." Dakota slid onto a bar stool, watching him work. This felt domestic, comfortable, like they'd been doing this for years instead of hours. Her phone buzzed multiple times. She picked it up and her eyes widened. "Oh no, what?" Chaeyoung sent me like 20 texts, and there are articles, multiple articles. Jiwoo came around the counter, looking at her phone. "About last night, about us." Dakota scrolled through. Society blogs, gossip sites, all with variations of the same headline. Kong Jiwoo spotted with mysterious woman at high school reunion. CEO makes rare public appearance. Who is Kong Jiwoo's new girlfriend? "There are pictures," Dakota said weakly. She clicked on one. It was from last night. Jiwoo's hand on her back as they walked into the reunion. Another of them dancing. Another of them leaving together. "I should have expected this," Jiwoo said. "I don't go to public events. When I do, people notice. Your company's PR department is going to hate me. My company's PR department works for me, and I don't care what they think." He took her phone, setting it down. "Do you care about the articles?" "I don't know. I've never been in gossip blogs before. They'll find out who you are. Dig into your background. It might get invasive." Dakota thought about that. About her life being examined. Her business looked at under a microscope. But then she thought about last night. About finally facing the people who'd hurt her. About Jiwoo standing beside her without question. "I can handle it," she said. "You're sure?" "No. But I want to try anyway." Jiwoo smiled. "Okay, then we don't hide. We just live our lives and let them write whatever they want." They ate breakfast together, talking about normal things. Work, plans for the day, whether Dakota needed to go back to her hotel for clothes. It felt surreal, this quiet morning after everything. Dakota's phone rang. "Chaeyoung?" "I'm putting you on speaker," Dakota warned before answering. "Have you seen the articles?" Chaeyoung didn't even say hello. "Yes." "Dakota, you're everywhere. Every single gossip site has your picture. Some of them already figured out who you are. They're calling you the American designer who captured Kong Jiwoo's heart." That's dramatic. It's accurate though, isn't it? Chaeyoung's voice turned knowing. "You stayed with him last night. How do you know that?" "Because you're not denying it." "Oh my God, Dakota, this is huge." "It's just dating. People date. Normal people date. Kang Jiwoo doesn't date. He's been photographed with maybe 3 women in the past 5 years, and all of those were business-related. This is different." Dakota looked at Jiwoo. He was watching her with quiet amusement. "Chaeyoung, I have to go." "Wait, before you hang up, you should know. Yuna called me this morning." Dakota's stomach dropped. What did she want? To know if the rumors about Hyunwoo were true. If he's really going to be arrested. "I told her I didn't know anything." "Is he?" "According to the news, yes. They're saying he'll be formally charged within the week." Chaeyoung paused. "Dakota, did Jiwoo really do that? Did he really get Hyunwoo investigated because of what Yuna did to you?" Dakota looked at Jiwoo. He shook his head slightly. "I can't talk about that." "Chaeyoung." "Right, okay, I get it." Chaeyoung's voice softened. "For what it's worth, I'm glad you went last night. And I'm glad you found someone who stands up for you like that." After they hung up, Dakota turned to Jiwoo. "She thinks you got Hyunwoo arrested for me. The investigation was already happening, but you made it move faster. I made some calls. Connected some dots. The prosecutor's office would have gotten there eventually. I just helped them get there sooner. Why? Because he's corrupt. And because his wife spent a year making your life miserable." Jiwoo said it simply, like both reasons held equal weight. "I don't like people who abuse power. And I really don't like people who hurt you. You can't just ruin people's lives because they were mean to me in high school, Jiwoo. I can, actually. I'm very good at it. That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" Dakota struggled for words. "I don't need you to fight my battles. I know you don't. You're perfectly capable of fighting your own battles. Last night proved that." He moved closer. "But that doesn't mean you have to fight them alone. That doesn't mean I'm going to stand by and watch people hurt you when I have the power to stop it. That's not how normal relationships work. We're not normal. I run a criminal enterprise and you redesign penthouses. Nothing about this is normal." Dakota wanted to argue, but she couldn't, because he was right. Nothing about this was normal, and maybe that was okay. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was an unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. "Hello, is this Dakota Johnson?" A woman's voice, tight and angry. "Who is this?" "This is Seo, Yuna. We need to talk." Dakota's eyes widened. She looked at Jiwoo, who'd gone very still. "What do you want, Yuna?" "I want you to call off your boyfriend. Tell him to leave my husband alone." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't play stupid. I know Kang Jiwoo got my husband investigated. I know he's the reason Hyunwoo's about to be arrested, and I know he did it because of you." Dakota's hand tightened on the phone. "Your husband got himself investigated when he stole money, Yuna. That has nothing to do with me. Everything has to do with you. You came to that reunion to ruin my life. I came to that reunion because you invited me. Remember? You wanted to laugh at me one more time. You wanted to prove you were better than me." "I am better than you." "Really?" "Because from where I'm standing, your husband's going to jail, your marriage is falling apart, and you spent the last 10 years being miserable while pretending to be happy. Meanwhile, I built a career I love, learned the language you mocked me for not knowing, and found someone who actually cares about me. So tell me, Yuna, who's really better off?" Silence on the other end. Then quietly, Yuna said, "I'm sorry." Dakota almost dropped the phone. "What?" "I'm sorry. For what I did to you. For how I treated you. You're right. I was miserable, and I took it out on you because you were an easy target." Yuna's voice cracked. "I've been miserable for so long I don't remember what it's like to be anything else." Dakota didn't know what to say. She'd imagined this moment 1,000 times. Yuna apologizing. Yuna admitting she was wrong. But now that it was happening, it felt hollow. "I forgive you," Dakota said finally. "Not because you deserve it, but because I'm tired of carrying this around. I'm tired of letting what you did define how I see myself." "Thank you," Yuna whispered. "But Yuna, don't call me again. Don't contact me. We're not friends. We're not anything. This is me letting go and moving on." Dakota hung up before Yuna could respond. She set the phone down, her hands shaking. Jiwoo pulled her into his arms. "You okay?" "Yeah, I think I am." Dakota pressed her face into his chest. She apologized. "How do you feel about that?" "Lighter, like I can finally let it go." She pulled back to look at him. "Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense." They spent the rest of the morning together. Jiwoo had meetings, but he canceled them. They watched bad television and ordered too much food and talked about everything. It felt easy, natural. Like they'd been doing this forever. Around noon, Dakota's actual work phone rang. Her business partner in New York. "Dakota, I've been seeing some interesting photos of you online," Amanda said without preamble. "I can explain. You're dating a client? A billionaire client who apparently runs half of Seoul? It's complicated. It better be. Because we have 3 potential clients in Korea who saw those photos and want to meet with you specifically. They want the designer who works with Kang Jiwoo." Dakota sat up straighter. "Seriously?" "Dead serious. Being associated with him is apparently very good for business. Who knew dating a crime lord was a solid marketing strategy?" "He's not a crime lord, Amanda. He's close enough. Anyway, I'm not calling to lecture you. I'm calling to tell you that if you want to open a Seoul branch of the firm, now would be the time. You've got name recognition, you've got connections, and apparently you've got the most powerful man in the city willing to stand next to you at parties." Dakota looked at Jiwoo. He was watching her, curious. "Can I think about it?" "Sure, but don't think too long. Strike while the iron's hot and all that." After she hung up, Jiwoo raised an eyebrow. "Seoul branch? Apparently dating you is good for my career. Is that the only reason you're dating me?" "Absolutely. I'm using you for your connections." He pulled her onto his lap. "Use away." Dakota laughed, wrapping her arms around his neck. "She's right, though. If I wanted to expand to Seoul, now would be the time. Is that what you want?" "I don't know. Maybe. I love New York, but Seoul feels different now. It feels like somewhere I could actually be happy. Because of the business opportunities. Because of you." Jiwoo's arms tightened around her. "Stay. Open your Seoul branch. Build your empire here. Let me watch you take over the design world. And what will you do? Whatever you need. I'll be your client, your partner, your annoying boyfriend who bothers you at work. Whatever role you'll let me fill." Dakota kissed him, slow and sweet and full of promise. When she pulled back, she said, "Okay, I'll stay. I'll open the Seoul branch. I'll build something here. Because of me, because of me, because I want to, because for the first time, Seoul feels like somewhere I could belong." She touched his face. "But yeah, also because of you." Jiwoo kissed her again, deeper this time, full of relief and joy and something that felt dangerously close to love. The weeks that followed were a blur. Dakota met with potential clients, started the paperwork for opening a Seoul office, dealt with the occasional gossip article about her and Jiwoo. Through it all, he was there, not hovering, not controlling, just present, supporting her in quiet ways that made her chest warm. They went on actual dates, dinners at restaurants where Jiwoo knew the owners and got them private tables. Walks through neighborhoods Dakota had never explored. Late nights at his penthouse talking about everything and nothing. 1 month after the reunion, they were having dinner when Jiwoo went quiet. "What?" Dakota asked. "I need to tell you something." Her stomach dropped. "That sounds ominous. It's not bad. At least, I hope it's not." He set down his fork. "I love you." Dakota's breath caught. "I've been in love with you for weeks," Jiwoo continued. "Maybe longer. I don't know exactly when it happened, but somewhere between you telling me my furniture choices were terrible and you falling asleep on my couch, I fell completely in love with you. Jiwoo, you don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. I needed to stop pretending this is casual or temporary. You're not temporary for me, Dakota. You're everything." Dakota's eyes burned. "You're everything for me too. Yeah? I love you. I'm in love with you. It's terrifying and wonderful, and I love you." Jiwoo stood up, pulling her with him. He kissed her like she was precious, like she mattered more than anything. And for the first time in her life, Dakota felt completely, utterly safe. They made their relationship official. Or rather, they stopped hiding it. Jiwoo started showing up at Dakota's work events. She started attending business dinners with him. The gossip articles shifted from speculation to fact. Kang Jiwoo is officially dating interior designer Dakota Johnson. They look happy. They look in love. And they were. 3 months after the reunion, Dakota got an email from her old high school. They were doing a feature on successful alumni and wanted to interview her. "Are you going to do it?" Jiwoo asked when she showed him. "I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me thinks it's petty. It's not petty to want recognition for your success, even when that success partly comes from dating you. Your success comes from your talent and hard work. I'm just a very attractive bonus." Dakota threw a pillow at him. He caught it, grinning. She did the interview. Talked about her business, her plans for the Seoul branch, her journey from struggling student to successful designer. She didn't mention Jiwoo except to say she was happy in Seoul. That was enough. The article came out 2 weeks later. Her phone exploded with messages. Former classmates wanting to reconnect. People who'd ignored her suddenly wanting to be friends. "Block them all," Jiwoo said when she showed him. "That's harsh. They didn't want you when you needed them. They don't get you now that you're successful." He had a point. "Before we get to the end, I want you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Because stories like this, stories about second chances and finding love in unexpected places, they matter. And I've got more coming. Now, let's finish this." 6 months after the reunion, Dakota was working late at her new Seoul office when Jiwoo showed up with food. "You need to eat," he said, setting down bags from her favorite Thai place. "I need to finish this design. The design will still be there after you eat." She wanted to argue, but he was right. She was running herself into the ground, trying to get the Seoul branch established. Jiwoo had been patient, supportive, and occasionally annoying when he thought she was working too hard. "How was your day?" she asked, taking the food he offered. "Long. Had to deal with a situation at one of the hotels. Some staff were skimming money. What did you do?" "Fired them. Filed charges. The usual." Dakota shook her head. His casual relationship with his own power still amazed her sometimes. "You're terrifying. Only to people who steal from me." He pulled her onto his lap. "To you, I'm a cuddly teddy bear. You're definitely not that. A moderately cuddly panda, getting warmer." He kissed her neck. "Occasionally affectionate house cat?" There we go. They ate together in her office, talking about their days. It was normal, domestic, everything Dakota had never thought she'd have. "I have something for you," Jiwoo said after they finished eating. "It's not my birthday." "I know, but I saw this and thought of you." He pulled out a small box. Dakota's heart jumped, but when she opened it, it wasn't a ring, it was a key. "What's this?" "A key to my place. Our place, if you want it to be." Jiwoo looked nervous, which was rare for him. "Move in with me, officially. Bring your stuff, take over my closets. Make the space yours. Just be there when I come home." Dakota stared at the key. "This is a big step. I know. If it's too soon, I understand. But Dakota, I wake up every morning wishing you were there. I come home every night to an empty penthouse, and hate it. I want you there. I want us to build a life together. What if it doesn't work? What if we drive each other crazy? Then we'll figure it out. Together. Like we figured out everything else. Dakota looked at him. At this man who'd shown up for her without question. Who'd stood beside her while she faced her demons. Who loved her with a quiet certainty that still took her breath away. Okay, she said. Okay? I'll move in. Let's build a life together. Jiwoo kissed her, deep and thorough and full of promise. When he pulled back, his eyes were bright. I love you, he said. I love you too. Dakota moved in the following week. It was chaotic and messy and perfect. Her clothes took over half his closet. Her design books filled his shelves. Her coffee maker replaced his fancy espresso machine. The penthouse became theirs. Not his, not hers, theirs. 1 year after the reunion, Dakota woke up in their bed to Jiwoo watching her. Creepy, she mumbled. You're beautiful when you sleep. You're weird when you're awake, he laughed, pulling her close. What do you want to do today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I want to stay in bed and be lazy. I can work with that. They stayed in bed until noon, talking and laughing and existing in their own little world. Later, they made breakfast together. Jiwoo cooked while Dakota sat on the counter giving unhelpful suggestions. You're supposed to be helping, he said. I am helping. I'm providing moral support. You're eating all the strawberries, also helping. After breakfast, they ended up on the couch. Dakota was sketching while Jiwoo read through business reports. It was comfortable, easy. The kind of quiet domesticity Dakota had never thought she'd want. I got an email from Shyung, Dakota said. She's getting married. That's good. She wants me to design her wedding venue. Are you going to do it? Yeah. She was the only one who was kind to me back then. I owe her. Jiwoo set down his papers. You don't owe anyone anything, Dakota, I know, but I want to do it anyway. He nodded, understanding without her having to explain more. That was one of the things she loved about him. He got her, understood her, saw all of her and loved what he saw. Have you heard from Yuna? He asked. No, not since that phone call. Dakota hadn't thought about Yuna in months. The anger and hurt had faded, leaving only indifference. I saw her husband got sentenced, though. 3 years. Could have been worse. Could have been better. He stole money that was supposed to go to public housing. He deserves worse. Dakota couldn't argue with that. What about Yuna? What's she doing? Last I heard, she filed for divorce. Moved back in with her parents. She's looking for work. Good for her. Jiwoo looked surprised. You mean that? Yeah, I hope she figures her life out. I hope she finds whatever makes her happy. I just don't want to be part of it. You're a better person than I am. You got her husband arrested. He deserved it. Dakota laughed, leaning into him. You're ridiculous. You love me anyway. I really do. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Jiwoo said, Do you ever regret going to that reunion? Dakota thought about it. About the fear and anger she'd felt walking in. About facing the people who'd hurt her. About the photos and the confrontations and all of it. No, she said finally. I don't regret it. I needed to face them. I needed to prove to myself that I'd moved past it all. And have you? Yeah, I have. She turned to look at him. They don't matter anymore, Jiwoo. What they did, what they said, it doesn't define me. I define me. And I like who I am now. I like who you are too. Just like, I love who you are. I'm in love with who you are. Is that better? Much better. He kissed her, soft and sweet. When he pulled back, he was smiling. Thank you. For what? For giving me a chance. For moving here. For building a life with me. For everything. Dakota's chest felt tight. Thank you for showing up. For standing beside me. For making me feel like I belong. You do belong. Here, with me. Always. Later that night, they were getting ready for bed when Jiwoo's phone rang. He glanced at it, frowned, then answered. What is it? He said in Korean. Dakota watched as his expression shifted. Something serious was happening. When he hung up, he looked worried. What's wrong? She asked. There's a situation. I need to go handle it. Is it dangerous? No. Just complicated. I'll be back in a few hours. Jiwoo. He came to her, cupping her face. I promise. It's nothing dangerous. Just business I need to take care of. Okay. Be careful anyway, always. He kissed her and left. Dakota tried to go to sleep, but she couldn't. She ended up working on designs, checking her phone every few minutes. Jiwoo came back 3 hours later looking tired but fine. Dakota was still awake, sketching on the couch. You waited up, he said. I was working. You were worrying, maybe both. He sat beside her, pulling her close. I'm fine. Everything's fine. What was the situation? One of my business partners was trying to make a deal behind my back. I had to remind him why that's a bad idea. Did you threaten him? I didn't have to. I just explained the consequences of his actions. He understood. Dakota shook her head. Your life is so weird. Our life. Our weird life. Do you hate it? She thought about that. About the danger and complexity that came with being with Jiwoo. About the gossip and the attention and the constant awareness of his power. No, she said honestly. I don't hate it. It's strange and sometimes scary, but it's ours. And I love you too much to let the weird parts scare me away. Good. Because I'm not letting you go. Possessive much. When it comes to you, absolutely. They went to bed together, wrapped up in each other. Dakota fell asleep feeling safe and loved and completely at peace. 18 months after the reunion, Dakota got a call that changed everything. Her design firm had been nominated for an international award. The ceremony was in Paris. She was expected to attend. Come with me, she said to Jiwoo. To Paris? Yeah, we can make a trip of it. You can show me around, we can eat too much food, it'll be fun. I've never been to Paris. Dakota stared at him. You run an international business empire and you've never been to Paris? I don't travel much for pleasure. Usually it's just work. Then definitely come. Let me show you Paris. He smiled. Okay, let's go to Paris. They spent a week there. Dakota attended the awards ceremony, which she won. Jiwoo was there in the audience, looking proud and slightly out of place in the crowd of designers and artists. After the ceremony, they explored the city together. Jiwoo was surprisingly relaxed away from Seoul, away from his business and responsibilities. On their last night, they had dinner at a small restaurant near their hotel. The food was incredible, the wine perfect. They talked about everything and nothing, laughing like they had all the time in the world. I want to ask you something, Jiwoo said as they were finishing dessert. Okay, move to Paris with me. Dakota almost choked on her wine. What? Not permanently. But let's spend a few months here. You can work on international projects. I can set up some business deals. We can just exist somewhere that's not Seoul, where no one knows us. Jiwoo, that's crazy. I know. But I want to do crazy things with you. I want to travel and explore and build a life that's bigger than just our routines. Dakota looked at him. At this man who'd walked into her life and changed everything. Okay, let's do it. Let's be crazy together. His smile was brilliant. I love you too. They did go to Paris for 3 months, then Rome for 2 months, then Tokyo. They built a life that was fluid and exciting. Dakota's business grew internationally. Jiwoo proved he could run his empire from anywhere, but they always came back to Seoul, to the penthouse that was theirs, to the city that had once been a source of pain but had become home. 2 years after the reunion, Dakota was working in her home office when Jiwoo came in looking nervous. What's wrong? She asked. Nothing's wrong. I just need to ask you something. Okay. He pulled out a small box. Dakota's heart stopped. I had a whole speech planned, Jiwoo said, about how you changed my life and made me believe in love and all of that. But standing here, all I can think is that I want forever with you. I want every morning and every night and every moment in between. Marry me, Dakota. Build a life with me. Let me love you for the rest of our lives. Dakota was crying, happy tears that she didn't bother wiping away. Yes, I'll marry you. Yes to forever. Yes to everything. He slipped the ring on her finger, then kissed her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. And to him, she was. They got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Chaeyoung was there, crying happy tears. Dakota's parents flew in from the States. Jiwoo's business associates looked confused but respectful. It was perfect. Standing at the altar, looking at Jiwoo, Dakota thought about that scared 17-year-old girl. The one who'd been mocked and isolated. The one who'd believed she didn't belong. She wished she could tell that girl that it gets better. That one day she'd stand in Seoul, confident and successful, marrying a man who loved her completely. That the people who'd hurt her didn't matter. That she'd find her place and her people and her happiness. But that girl was still part of her. Still there in the moments of doubt and fear. And that was okay, because she'd survived, she'd grown, she'd become someone she was proud of. I love you, Jiwoo whispered as they were pronounced married. I love you too, Dakota whispered back. They kissed, and the small crowd cheered. It was the beginning of their forever. 5 years after the reunion, Dakota was working late when her assistant brought in mail. One envelope stood out. Cream cardstock, expensive. She opened it. An invitation. Her high school was having a major reunion. 10 years since graduation. Dakota stared at it, remembering the last reunion. The fear and anger, the confrontation, all of it. Are you going? Jiwoo asked when she showed him that night. I don't know. Do you think I should? Do you want to? Dakota thought about it. No, I don't need to prove anything to them anymore. I don't need their approval or their apology. I'm happy. We're happy. That's enough. Then don't go. She threw the invitation away. It felt good, like closing a door that had been open too long. That night, lying in bed with Jiwoo, Dakota felt completely at peace. She'd come to Seoul as a scared teenager and left broken. She'd come back as an adult and found everything she didn't know she was looking for. Love, home, belonging. What are you thinking? Jiwoo asked. That I'm glad I went to that reunion 2 years ago. Yeah, it led me here. To you, to this life. I'd face them all again if it meant ending up here. Jiwoo pulled her closer. You never have to face them again. You get to just be happy now. We get to be happy. We get to be happy, he agreed. And they were. They built a life full of travel and work and quiet moments. Dakota's business thrived. Jiwoo's empire grew. But more than any of that, they had each other. Years later, when people asked Dakota about her time in Seoul as a teenager, she'd tell them the truth. It was hard. It hurt. But it didn't define her. What defined her was what came after. The strength she found, the life she built, the love she discovered. She was invited to the reunion as a joke. She arrived as someone's wife. But more importantly, she arrived as herself, confident, successful, happy. And that was the best revenge of all. All right, we've reached the end of this journey together. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because everyone deserves a story that reminds them they're worthy of love and belonging, no matter what anyone else says. Thanks for being here. Until next time.